Russian forces have successfully captured the settlement of Novogrodovka in the Donetsk People's Republic, DPR, according to a statement from Russia's defense ministry. The military victory comes amid a broader escalation of hostilities between Russian and Ukrainian forces, with heavy losses reported on both sides as the war grinds into another year. The battle group Center led the offensive, defeating several Ukrainian military units in the process, including the 47th Mechanized Brigade, the 144th Infantry Brigade, and the 49th Assault Battalion, among others. Russian forces targeted Ukrainian positions near several key areas, including Dzerzhinsk, Shcherbanovka, and Krasnoarmeysk, reinforcing their hold in the contested Donetsk region. The Russian Defense Ministry claims that Ukrainian forces suffered significant losses, with up to 560 servicemen killed or injured. Military equipment destroyed in the battle included a US-made Max Pro armored vehicle, 2 Kozak fighting vehicles, and multiple artillery pieces, such as the 152 mm Mr. B and D-20 guns, and 122 mm D-30 howitzers. The capture of Novogrodovka is part of a wider Russian offensive that spans across several regions. In a series of coordinated attacks, Russian forces reportedly repelled 8 Ukrainian counterattacks, the Defense Ministry said, with fighting stretching from the Donetsk People's Republic to the Kharkiv and Kherson regions. Russia's battle group South claimed to have inflicted heavy losses on Ukraine's 24th, 54th Mechanized, and 10th Airborne Assault Brigades in Donetsk, stating that 625 Ukrainian servicemen were killed in the past 24 hours. Equipment losses included a Strela 10 air defense system and UK-made FH-70 and M777 howitzers. Further west, the battle group DNEPR engaged Ukrainian coastal defense and marine units near Kherson, killing up to 50 soldiers. The ministry added that Ukraine's 39th Coastal Defense Brigade and 37th Marine Brigade suffered losses in several key villages, including Gavrilovka and Novokyry. The Ministry of Defense also stated that Russian forces destroyed multiple drone assembly workshops and hit Ukraine's Special Operations Center South. Over the past day, Russian air defenses reportedly intercepted and destroyed 4 US-made HIMARS rockets, 4 French-made hammer bombs, and 23 Ukrainian drones. While these claims are difficult to independently verify, they underscore the intensifying nature of the conflict, which has drawn significant international concern, particularly regarding its humanitarian and global security implications. As the battle lines harden, the conflict continues to put immense pressure on the civilian population. In the Kharkiv region, Ukraine's forces lost 550 servicemen, according to Russian reports, as the battle group West continued its efforts to improve tactical positions near several key villages. Equipment losses included a US-made M113 armored personnel carrier, a Polish-made Krab 155 mm howitzer, and several D-30 howitzers. The fight to control the eastern regions of Ukraine remains a high-stakes battle for both Kyiv and Moscow. Russia seeks to solidify gains in the DPR and the wider Donetsk region, while Ukraine has continued its counteroffensive efforts despite heavy losses. Both sides claim advances, though territorial shifts have been slow and hard-fought. Meanwhile, Russia has accused Ukraine of violating international humanitarian law during combat operations. Alexander Volfovich, The State Secretary of the Belarusian Security Council alleged that Ukraine is conducting war crimes with the tacit approval of its Western allies. Ukraine is violating all legal humanitarian rules of warfare. They treat civilians with cruelty, using real Nazi methods, Wolfowitz said in an interview with Belarusian state television. These accusations come as reports of civilian casualties continue to emerge from contested areas, heightening tensions between Russia and NATO nations, which have supplied Ukraine with financial and military support throughout the conflict. As the war drags on with no clear resolution in sight, both sides have remained defiant. Russian military personnel interviewed on the front lines have emphasized their commitment to the fight. The enemy must be beaten, chased away. "We are ready to go to the end," one Russian serviceman remarked. While the Kremlin remains publicly optimistic about its military operations, the situation on the ground in Ukraine paints a more complex picture. Ukrainian officials have continued to pledge resistance, and Western countries have vowed to maintain their support for Kyiv. But with growing civilian casualties and escalating battles across multiple fronts, the toll of the war only deepens. In the backdrop of this intensifying war, international attention is now focused on potential diplomatic solutions and whether these brutal campaigns will force a shift in global strategies for peace in Ukraine. However, with both Russia and Ukraine doubling down on their positions, a resolution remains elusive.